Record. Okay, so today we have a fucking good masterclass with the beast of TikTok. Maybe the founder, we don't know it yet, but maybe the founder of the German founder of TikTok.
Maybe.
Top G of TikTok. You've been running an agency, TikTok agency for big brands, I guess. And now you run your own e-commerce, like big e-commerce of jewelry for, I think, Germany and the US, and expanding mostly through TikTok ads and a bit of Meta. So you're able to run a brand only with TikTok ads. And we met
Exactly.
to know the story. We met the love story. We met in Bali 1 year ago
Yeah.
through I
Yeah.
think an
Almost one
event.
year, man.
Exactly
Almost
one,
one
one
year.
year ago in Bali through an event. We ran an event at my place. We fell in love and then we started talking. And
He's gonna get me something for the anniversary. I'm excited. Maybe some of his jewelry. He will send it to me.
And that's it. Started like getting in touch. You've been talking in Affiliate World Congress. That is like fucking one of the biggest events of e-commerce and affiliate offers. So you're really well known in Twitter as well, and I think in the e-commerce space. So welcome, Kevin, and thank you for coming. I hope you
Appreciate it.
enjoyed this lesson.
Appreciate it. Very happy to be here. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And yeah, goal here is to get you very consistent on TikTok ads and give you a couple nuggets. I hope you can take away a lot of value from this. Prepared a little presentation here for you guys. Of course, before I start, if you ever have any questions or something, very happy to interrupt me. You know, this isn't like an official speech or something. You just chime in and ask away.
Nice.
And of course, after that, we'll do a Q&A anyways. So, have a little chit chat about your situation, stuff like this. So I will share my screen now and
Nice.
then we're going to be good to go. We should be good. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to go? All
100%,
right.
man. We're ready.
In this case, well, we are here, we're ready. I'm going to talk a little bit today about how to consistently crush it with TikTok ads. Again, the emphasis here is on the consistent because we want to not just have a couple of good days and then, it all tanks. We want to be consistently very good on the platform. That's what we're here to talk about. What are we going to talk about here? Mostly, we will talk about TikTok content, as we will later see. Content is your key to consistency. Anything else we will, of course, quickly touch on how to test, how to scale, of course, but most importantly, about your TikTok content, because this is like 90%. How to set up your accounts, of course, just real quick, just so you know, and then how to test the products and how to scale. But Gerard already gave me such a good introduction, like I could never like sell myself at that level. So I will just skip through this. You already heard it. Thank you for the introduction again, Gerard. Couple of actually, there's no love story pick here with Gerard, so we have to add that here. But we will just skip over this. Gerard introduced me. Let's get into the value. Okay.
Nice.
Let's talk about TikTok content first, because again, this is your biggest success factor on the platform. When I say 90% of your success, it's of course you have to have a product market fit, right? And you have to have a good website. So this is a way, but then if you have that, 90% of your success on the platform is content, right? So we will quickly take a look at the basics of great TikTok content. Is not very, like the basics are basics, so we'll skim over that a little bit fast. And then mainly we will talk about the process behind it, because a little bit theoretic, but it is probably the most important thing in your content game and therefore in the consistency. So that's why we'll focus a little bit on that. And then of course, finding the creators, you will need creators, and then examples of some good creators and how to like do the thing in practice, right? We want to take a look at that too. So quickly, the basics. Again, content will make you consistent. I will tell you so many times that content will make you consistent that you will be so sick of hearing it, but then it will be like ingrained into your brain. So that I am successfully today. Of course, we don't have to really talk about UGC, still king. We don't like the professional footage. It's not worth it really. Native TikTok feel, very important. You will find creators that are native to the platform. They're not using like some sort of Adobe effects. We're all going to do the TikTok effects and the TikTok style. Really treat your creators as what makes you successful. Like treat them as like the golden geese. A lot of people say like, oh, like just some fucking creator girl, like just some chick, whatever. But really they're the ones who represent you on the platform, and they're the ones who breathe the life and breathe the sales into your business, really. So like really treat them well and have a lot of respect for them and kind of adjust to their ways of working, because creators a lot of times they're like creatives, they're like woo, and they're like not very experienced in business, but they're great at creating content. So just adjust to them and don't be like, oh, fucking stick to this recipe, blah, blah, blah. More like be a little more loose and let them produce. Of course, they need to follow the instructions. Creative strategy is your job and the creatives is their job, right? A lot of mistakes that people make is they send the product to the creator and they're like, just make like a good video, just make a good creative, go with your feeling or something like that. That's what I'm saying. Strategy is your job. Like you need to be on point, and we will talk about this in a moment. You need to be on point of who's your avatar, who you're talking to, what are the transformations they're seeking, what are their pain points, what are the benefits of your product, what's your guide, what's your role in their whole hero's journey, right? You all need to be very prepared for that, because otherwise you get shit out, right? What you put in is what you get out. If you put shit in, you get shit out, right? And we don't want that. We want great content. So real quick, again, very basic stuff. We will take a look at examples. Great creatives are very easy to understand. I like to talk about the third grade principle, is when for example, a lot of people remember Donald Trump speaking in very simple terms. That's why a lot of people were able to relate to him and understand his message, because it's very, very simple. And we want to be even simpler than that, right? We don't want to be like complicated, like what am I showing? If you're showing like different things, or like you're more into it, we don't want to do it. We want to have a video that inherently is so easy to understand. You could show it to a third grader and be like, what's going on in that video? And after 2 seconds, you're selling me makeup, right? Or like, that's a cool makeup, right? Because it's so easy to understand, right? And of course, we need basic content stuff. We need an exciting, sensational, emotional, enticing hook at the start, right? You're going to start your video. We will see this in the examples in a way that's like, oh my, I got to fucking watch that shit. Then again, native to the platform, right? Very important. Usually the creators use CapCut for the effects, or InShot, right? If they do CapCut, they usually have the presets of TikTok in their editing app. So everything will look like TikTok anyways. But you have to make sure that they actually produce this way. A lot of creatives that we had, they don't follow like a superset structure, maybe like in a VSL, or like a longer creative on also a meta follows like more of a structure. On TikTok, because of the trends, because of the different styles and what's currently going on, you can deviate a little bit from that structure. You don't need to be like super, first 1.5 seconds this, and then the next seconds is going into the problem, and the next. You don't need this necessarily, but it's always good to have a basic structure, right? You don't have to be like super crazy with it, but have your simple structure. We will talk about that more. The big question that people always have is, do I prepare scripts for the creators, or do I let them talk, right? And some people prefer scripts, some prefer freestyle. For example, us, we used to do it for clients a lot and for our own e-commerce. Now, we only do briefs. A brief is where you explain the structure, you explain the angle, you explain the footage, you give hints on what to say, but other than that, they're good to go, right? We prefer that. Again, some people say, I want to script every word. Totally fine too. You just have to adjust whatever you prefer, right? At the end, of course, it has to be native. It has to perform. If it performs for you, whether you use scripts or not, keep on doing whatever performs, right? Okay, I will quickly touch on this because this is like a very different section of marketing. I hope some of you will recognize it, but really get familiar with what is called market awareness levels. It's something that will immediately turn your content game and turn your marketing and therefore business game on a whole another level. Again, maybe all of you know this, and you're like, of course. But you will approach your content game in a very different way. And suddenly you will structure your creatives according to awareness levels and other things, of course, but also awareness levels. And then you can finally see what's going on in your creatives. Like, oh, awareness level 3 is performing very well. Oh, awareness level 5 is performing very well. Awareness level 1 is not performing at all, right? So you will understand, you will continuously make your content better and better. And honestly, it's super easy. Like you can fucking watch a YouTube video on this and understand it within 10 minutes. And then you just make different shoots for awareness levels and you will see which shoots perform best. Oh, right. Instant improvement to your content game, very easy to understand once again. It's the book Eugene Schwartz, great for advertising. Of course, you can read it, but you can also watch a 10-minute video and then understand it, right? All right. So, oh, you have any questions? Anybody?
Not for me.
All right. Let's take a look at some examples. This also one of the things that I can always recommend. Is this one up here. This is what we call, this is a tool for play. It's getting more and more famous in the space, rightfully so. There's also like Swipe File, I think, and other tools that do this. Essentially, all your competitor creatives, all the creatives you like, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's in the ads library, you will be able to save and have in here forever and be able to structure. So this is just an instant improvement to your content game because you don't have like drives and like Instagram forwards of ads and stuff like this. No, you keep track of your competitors like very well this way. But you can use this if you like, but we wanted to take a look at a couple ads here. So couple of general winning ads here that I have. One of them here. Let's take a look at this one. I think you can hear the sound. If not, then let me know. All right, there you go. Beautiful creative. You can see all the edits that were done and kind of all the edits. There's like TikTok, of course, like everything's TikTok. The footage itself, of course, like very is well done, but like fun, right? Nothing professional. And then of course we have the cool hook here at the front with the spillage and the shut up. Perfect. Amazing creative. I know we saved that one because it was very successful in the creative center. Okay, another one here that has been going around Twitter and all that because it's so good. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, that's it. Like very cool. Right? It's just a girl spilling cola in a very creative, sensational way. That's why it's such a cool hook. She doesn't like just start the video with spillage on the carpet, but also look what I mean with not the structure of the creative, right? You sort of have a structure with the hook, and then you go further into it and you explain a little bit, but there's no call to action here actually. And there's no like the benefits that you just saw, you didn't see, right? But this one has like, I don't know how many million impressions, probably like 50 million impressions, and you can actually see that it has 3.5 million likes. So it's like insanely successful for that brand. But it's so native and it's so relatable that you don't need the whole call to action stuff like this. But as you saw in the first video, you can have it. Works well too, right? So it's just, don't be like super strict with it because then you can't produce this, and this is awesome. So, all right, let's take a look at like one more. And then, yeah, this one is also a good example. Okay. So a few things that I wanted to point out is notice how they talk to the audience. And this is something that you come up with in the creative strategy, right? You came up with who you are, like what's your brand identity, who you're talking to, what is your angle, what's your general brand identity approach to that audience. And once you define all these things, right, you know, somebody that creative knows how to talk and like to talk very almost slang, right? Like y'all were selling up this part, like almost slang. But this is something you come up with creative strategy, and then boom, you pass that on to creators, and they will be able to come up with something that's amazing. And of course, this is one that has like again a very strong hook with the you idiots, and then like a couple elements that are like very native to the platform. For example, look at how he slaps the thing. It's very funny. It's very unique. You will know that in the comments it'll be like, oh, it's like almost like a sexual slap, right? Like, but it's very cool. Everything native, like amazing creative. So very, very cool creatives. If anybody wants, I can also share this afterwards, the link to this board. So if you like, we can set it up. Just text me and I'll text you the link, and then you guys can have access if you like.
Because one question, the foreplay is the same as the TikTok ads gallery, but the thing is that you can follow all the ads collected here of the brand.
Yes, sort of. So what you do is you can save anywhere from the internet. You can save it into your own foreplay, right? So this isn't public. This is my like our foreplay.
And that's your private like portfolio
exactly.
foreplay.
Yeah, exactly. We have a couple other ones here from like exact competitors that we track, and this is like your like basis of creative strategy where you're from all over the place. Like I see a video on Twitter, I save it. I see a video on Facebook Ads Library, I save it in my foreplay. I see it on the TikTok Creative Center, I fucking save it in my foreplay, right? Because the problem you have with the TikTok Creative Center, but also with Facebook Ads Library and all the others, is that you lose it. Like at some point, the link doesn't work anymore, and you can't collaborate with it and stuff like this. But with foreplay, I have it all forever. Like it doesn't matter if it's an ad from 2019, I save it once, I have it, right? So that's why we love using it so much, because it makes collaboration and just creative strategy in general very, very easy. We will talk about creative strategy in a bit, but yeah, I'll let you some. Okay, a little bit of examples here. Now, I understand how do I make this happen in my business, right? You understand how creatives work, and you know, that's very important. Yes, it's very important for consistency. How do I set this up in my business so I can have success with that, right? So first of all, you need a content process for consistent creative output, right? Consistent creative output, consistent performance. You need a process for that. We don't want to approach it like, let's order 5 creatives, and then we get the creatives, and then it's finished. Like that's not. It's a process, ongoing. It's always consistently pumping out great creatives, right? That's what you want. So that's why I emphasize a little bit on this, because it's like the backbone of your business, producing all this content, right? So this is a cycle. It's a very basic cycle. It's also like a general content process, but we can apply it on TikTok here. And it's a cycle, right? The start, you have a creative strategy. We already talked about this. We will shine light more on it. Then you have UGC management, content creation, media buying, and it's a cycle because it's feeding back into creative strategy. Let's take a look how that works, right? Again, creative strategy, very important. You define your avatar, pain points, transformations, your guide, your competitors, right? This all needs to be set up by you, and it's a living and breathing process, right? You learn about you. Why do people buy from you? What are they seeking? What are they trying to become? This is all goes into your creative strategy, because otherwise, what the fuck are you talking about in your creatives, right? So next, this is the first step of creative strategy. You define this for yourself. Then in practice, what I recommend is you start out with researching winning TikTok creatives, right? Like you have all this theory, who you are and who you're helping the other person, but now you need the practice version. Now you need the live version. How do you get from the theory to the practices? You research, you start with what the competitors are doing, and you just do what they're doing, right? And you use PP ads or ads buying or another service that I'm about to share. And then you can research a lot, save it into your foreplay or wherever if you like. And from then on, you start to create the briefs for the creators and schedule the shoots. You send it out and you schedule all the shoots, right? So this is behind the content that you make. Then UGC management, like the second step in the cycle, very simple. It's just keeping track of creators and shoots and communication with creators. You have to understand if you have 50, like we right now in e-commerce, we are a little bit lower with the content volume than we used to. At our height, we used to do 300 creators per week. Now it's like 60, 70, before Christmas, maybe 80, 90, 100. But you have to keep track of all the shoots, like all the deliveries, all the shoots, what's going on, right? So this is UGC management, right? You have to just make sure that everything is structured and everything is performed in a way that you want.
So how many creatives you said per week you're launching?
Per week right now, we produce maybe 50.
50?
50, yeah, so 50.
Along all the products, I guess.
This is for mainly 4 products that we have. And this can, like, scale can vary, right? Maybe in the US, you can have one creative run 100K spend, but in Germany it won't be possible. So you need more creatives, right? And we're also testing a lot. So out of these 50 creatives, maybe per week, maybe 5 to 10 are winners, and the rest, shit. But we only need those 5 to 10.
You keep some of the creatives that work, you keep them, and still every week you launch 50 creatives, 50 different videos for TikTok.
Yes, but I have to say, we don't launch every week 50 creatives. We make it dependent on performance. So for example, right now we produce, or we're already done, but during Christmas time, we produce a lot of Valentine's content, right? So this way it shoots up, but we will not test it until like mid to end of January. And once we do, we launch like, 20 creators for a product a day, and we take a look what sticks, but then the volume goes down again, right?
Okay.
So it's dependent because we sell jewelry too.
Okay, I'm gonna translate it in Spanish because we complain sometimes. O sea, este tío te saca 50 creativos a la semana para TikTok. Entonces, ¿es estable en TikTok? Sí, pero saca 50 vídeos todas las semanas creados, no sacados así, puestos subtítulos. You create your own creatives, right? With the...
Yeah.
Crea sus 50 vídeos todas las semanas y ahora está en temporada baja.
Qué locura, tío.
¿Cómo lo crea? How do you create your creatives?
Well, that's what we're going to take a look at in a moment.
Okay.
Yes. So that's actually we use it through creators, right? We have a couple of creators, not a lot. We have 5, and we're getting 2 more right now because of the avatar, the demographic, not because of the volume. And 5 creators are totally enough. Each creator does like 10 creators per week. So around that, then you have 50. We will take a look at a moment. If it's okay, I'll continue, but if you have questions, you can interrupt. Okay, so again, in this creative process, creative strategy, UGC management, now we arrive at the creators. And the creators in that process, very simple. They're just freelancers that you find. We will take a look at how to find them. And they produce the content for you. We prefer that they shoot and edit at the same time. Most UGC works like this, that they shoot and edit, meaning that what you get is the finished creatives. But there are some people who say, nah, especially if you run in different countries, you don't want the text or something. So some people say, just cut it and don't do the edits. We will do the edits, right? But we were going to keep it simple here and just say what you're going to get back is the finished creatives. And then media buying, the last step in the cycle, you get your creatives, UGC management checks, of course, but then media buying cycles in the new creatives into the account, and whatever content works, a lot of them won't work, but a lot of it, when the content works, you feed it back into the creative strategy. That's why it's a loop, right? It's a continuous loop that always goes on because everything performs. You're like, oh my God, this angle, I want more of that, or this format, or this creator, or whatever, and then boom, it goes back into creative strategy, right? So now we're going to talk about, after talking about the process, how do you find those creators? Because a lot of people have problems finding these creators. And it's very simple, actually. First of all, if you can, recommendations. Like if you ask in your e-commerce group, it's like, hey, does anybody have like a good female creator? Because recommendations always like builds trust and stuff like this. But Fiverr and Upwork are amazing. We really love it. And for UGC, for other stuff, man, but for UGC, it's amazing. And our advice is get them off the platform as soon as possible. Like, find them on Fiverr and Upwork, but don't work on Fiverr because it's just a shitty process in my mind. So what you can do in your case, very simple. You go on Fiverr, you pop in UGC Creator, and then put Spanish in there. And you will find so many girls nowadays. Like, especially Spanish is amazing. You can see English, you can see German is actually like 500 lower, French too. But Spanish is so common, right? So this is the simple stuff ever, right? You just hit them up and you're like, hey, do you want to work with us? And if they say yes, send them a link to your Calendly or send them something and then get them off the platform immediately. Because Fiverr is very restricted in their steps. Like, you have to go through these steps, and it makes it like almost impossible to work with at scale. Like, you can't have 50 creatives a week on Fiverr. You just lose. It's crazy, right? You have to get them off the platform into your system. And then very simple, whatever you work with, if you work with Sheets, you use Sheets. If you work with like ClickUp or Notion or whatever you want to use, it doesn't really matter. You just have to keep track of all the shoots and all the creators. Very simple, just a couple sheets. We use Sheets. It's so easy, just a sheet. What's the product? What do they have? What shoots do they have? That's it. No problem. Communicate with them by WhatsApp. Hey, do this. Boom, done. And again, we like to have briefs, not scripts. So we send them a brief that's like this long. So what we want as an angle, what we want as a structure, what we want as a format. And then we send them inspiration videos from foreplay, right? So you're going to tell them, oh, I want this angle, I want you to do this, I want you to wear this, I want you to say this. And also, if you have any questions how this will look, take a look at these 3 creatives. And then you send them these foreplay creatives, and they're going to take a look at it like, I know what the fuck to do. And then they'll do it. And that's it. So very simple stuff, very, very, very easy actually. It may sound like for people who've never worked with creators or aren't really like producing a lot of content, will sound like, oh my God, I have to produce more content, what the fuck? But it's super simple. Like, once you do it, no problem. We've been doing it for almost 2 years now. It's so simple. So it's pretty much it. Let's talk about the content recap here. Is again, was the most important one here. Keep the basics in mind that we talked about. Define your avatar, your transformation, your pain point is very, very important. Otherwise, you get shit creators back. Then research the past winning creators from like different competitors and stuff like this. Emulate what's working, meaning you're just gonna copy their angles and copy their format, right, at the start. Then find the good creators through like Fiverr, Upwork, recommendations. Focus on the process behind it. That's very important because you don't just want, like, what are you gonna do with a winning creative? You can run it for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, but then you're gonna be dead. So you need the process behind it to keep feeding on TikTok. Like, TikTok is very content hungry. Like, you want more content. Give me more. You have 3 winning creatives, that's nothing. That's great for a week or 2 or 3. But then what are you going to do after that? Also, to scale in an account, this is true for Meta, this is true for any platform. To scale in an account, if you have a creative where there's like a female that's 25 and you want to scale that account, you need to get a content with a different avatar if your product applies. You need a content piece of like somebody that's 40 because suddenly you can scale up way higher, because you hit that different audience, right? So you need that process behind it, amazing, lot of creatives, and then there we go. Competitor spying is your friend. Again, that's very important. Use a lot of spy tools, not for product research, but for creative strategy. Okay, that was it for content. Again, if you have any questions, you can interrupt me. Other than that, we'll quickly touch on like account setup, testing, and scaling. Very quick
one question for you.
Yeah.
How much you spend monthly on creators, more or less?
Between, I would say, 2K and 4K. Like, not that much.
Not that much. Okay.
Not that much.
Okay. Se gasta entre 2.000 y 4.000 pavos en UGC al mes.
Yeah. Because what we do is we pay them actually only 30 euro per creator. But that means what we're really doing is when we make a shoot for something, we want to have 5 different variations of that. And per shoot, we pay 150 euros. So we want 5 different variations, not just the hook or the text. Like, we want to cut up differently, different music and stuff like this. But what we really get is 5 very unique creatives. But to them, they already have the footage. They already have everything in place. They just need to move around a couple things. So that's why we prefer this way. We can have way higher volume at a price that is super low. Like, in the end of the day, 30 euros per creative is super fucking cheap. But they're happy with it because it's super fast for them because it's just different variations. So that's why it works. It works very well for both sides. We work for a long time with operators, more than a year. Anyways, let's quickly talk about the account side in case you guys have questions, but we'll skip through that. There you go. This is it. Crazy, right? Oh my God, what's there to talk about? Some people have questions about the account setup. There you go. Create a business and create an ad account, create a pixel. You're good to go. No need for fancy stuff. No need for like VPS and agencies. If you want to advertise in a country where you can't advertise, you need an agency ad account. But other than that, just this is an ad account, pixel. That's it. Later on, if you have a brand, you want to like call a brand route, you have a profile, you can connect your page in the business center and then you're good to go. You can use that in your ads if you like. All right, concept. Anybody has any questions? Probably. Okay, you have your creatives, you have your account set up, everything's solid. What do you do for media buying now? Right, we're going to take a look at how to test your products and creatives. When it comes to testing, some principles first. Again, what you do here is nowhere nearly as important as the content, right? So if you fuck up anything here, but you have great content and product market fit stuff, it's still gonna be great. Like the structure isn't that important nowadays. It's 2024, we don't need to like be on. But when you do approach TikTok testing, focus on testing content over anything else, content or products, but keep the demographics and targeting stuff to a minimum. Just leave everything broad. Mostly we barely do targeting because the AI is most of the time better anyway. And the problem with testing targeting is because you get the wrong impression. Like an ad group works and you think it's because of the targeting, but probably it's not. It's just you have a good pocket of audience or a good couple of creators. So we just leave it out, just leave it broad. Anything like that. Don't worry about overlaps. If you test and you have like a lot of ad groups, a lot of campaigns, people are like, oh my God, there's overlaps and CPMs are missing. No, they're not. It's all good. Don't worry about overlaps. I mean, maybe if you're doing excessively, but and then just as a note, if you test something, TikTok's algorithm isn't as sophisticated as Meta's, right? A lot of people I talk to are like very versed on Meta, and they expect things to work the same way. Just be mindful that TikTok's still a little bit more brute force. We're going to see that in a moment. What we recommend is test your creatives, test your products, very simple in a CBO, and move them into scale and when they work, and then turn it off if not. As a note here, this is the structure we recommend. You can use that, but again, man, you can also use an ABO campaign with 10 different ad groups and 3 creatives in there or 5 creatives, and it works as well, right? It's more about what is your media buyer comfortable with and what gives you, how can you read data properly and how can you act on that data properly? It's not like, oh my God, you can't scale ABO campaigns. They're worse. No, they're not. But how can you get data out and how do you structure your creatives inside of those campaigns or inside the account so you can read the data well and then feed that back into creative strategy. That's why we emphasize a little bit more on the CBO because in my mind, it's a little easier, right? Set up your conversion campaign, very simple, $50, $100 budget. And then inside you have the broad ad groups and we like to do 5 duplicates of the same ad group. This is what I mean. TikTok is not as sophisticated as Meta, so we like to do those duplicates. We like to have the different pockets of audiences, and the algorithm can choose the best one. Meta is way better at picking you a good audience than TikTok is. That's why we still like to be a little like manual with it. But other than that, everything broad, lowest cost, everything standard, right? Leave your comments on, video download, everything on, everything as suggested, and then. On the creative level, we always use smart creatives. Smart creative allow you to, it's like with Facebook, you can add different texts and different headlines. In TikTok, you taught us smart creatives, so you can do the same thing. Always do smart creative. Do 3 creatives per ad group. Again, these are all the same ad groups, right? So just duplicates. 3 creatives in there, 3 texts. Use some sort of sale custom identity. Honestly, sale works the best. If you have like your brand, if your brand name is like fucking called, I don't know, Gerard, and then just do something like Gerard Sale, or something like this as a customized entity. So it just kind of looks a little bit more enticing. We like to do that. Shop now. That's it, right? No crazy structure. And then in the account, it can look like this. If you want to launch with lower budget, of course, then don't do like 10 campaigns that are lower budget. But if you have like a new batch of creatives, you have a product that works very well, and you get like 9 creatives from your creators, then do 3 campaigns, each at $100 budget, top 3 in each, let it run for a day or 2 and see what happens, right? This way, read the data very easily, understand everything that's going on. You can also easily bundle the creators for however you like, play around with what works best in your account, but then you understand very well what works well.
So
and that's
one question about the CBOs. Like here, imagine we get 15 creatives. So you could do 5 CBOs of $100 each and 3 creatives each with 5 ad sets inside each CBO with the 3 same. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Again, if you want to do lower budget, you can do that, of course. Then I would say use an ABO and use $20 and pop like 2 creatives in there, and then you're gonna half your budget, right?
But on the CBOs, you keep like 3 creatives per CBO. That's it.
Yeah, usually. I mean, again, if you like super confident, for example, in your product, and if you're super confident in your creatives, and it's like a time to spend a lot of money, fuck it, do 2 creatives, and suddenly you have a lot more campaigns, right? A lot more budget. Totally fine too. It's not like it doesn't work. It's just, it's on you to determine the spend that you would like, and how confident you are, and what the account is performing, right? So,
I have a question there, if I may. So you do 1 CBO with 3 ads, so there is only 1 ad set, but once it's created, you double it. How many times? 1, 2, 3?
You duplicate it 4 times, so in total, it's 5 ad groups inside of that campaign.
All right, and it will basically share the budget into those duplications just to test the audience, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get those different pockets of audiences, and again, with Meta, the last time we had to do like duplications or like excessive duplications, probably I heard that the last time like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know. In TikTok, we still like to do it a little bit because it's not as good as Meta in this case, in my experience, in our experience, but that's why we do it.
All right.
Okay. Well then, again, just some last words for testing. We like CBOs also because very easy in the account, very easy to read data, but also because you can serve scale them. And serve scaling CBOs is super easy, right? I'm sure you've heard the term Meta. You can consolidate if it gets too crazy, but otherwise, then it's very, very easy to scale anything that's working in the account. So that's why we really like it. You can also serve scale ad groups, but we prefer CBOs because they're more stable in our experience, right? Again, you can deviate from the structure, very important. I said it. It has to be said because otherwise people, some people, they see it, I'm like, I have to fucking follow this. It's like, no, you don't. Like, it's a good practice to do it this way, but do whatever works in your account. Just follow the underlying principles. Okay, we have almost only test content. Again, very important. Split your creatives into CBOs. Identify which work and don't work fast, and then you can turn off campaigns or scale them very quickly. If you get too many campaigns, of course, start to consolidate, start to look at different structures, right? You don't have to have 50 active campaigns. That's crazy. It will be hard to manage the account. Structure is not too important. You look at whatever works, and then the goal is again to serve scale. And of course, now we're looking at how to scale. Super simple, super fast here. This is an example that I like to make in presentations. This is today. I don't know. This screenshot is not. I think it's a little older. This was last year. But we spent 10K on the account per day. But you see what like these 2 things that happened here. It's such a nice reminder what surf scaling is. It keeps it in your mind because we ran out of budget. So surf scaling would go up fast towards the end of the day, and this declined 2 times. They went out of budget. They had to add more balance to the account. But this is what happens with surf scaling, right? So be prepared for your budget. If you have an annual payment, make sure that there's a lot on there. Otherwise, plugin this happens. And you have a beautiful day of 10K spent, but usually you would not get 12 or 13 or whatever. So make sure you have enough length, but this isn't like a nice way explanation of what serve scaling really is. This is what we mean. At the end of the day, we can serve up, right? You start low with the general budgets that you have, $50, $100 budgets, whatever. And then you start to increase. This is very important also on the big days, weekends, holidays, classic one, Black Friday. This is a presentation that I have, so from a Black Friday presentation. It's very important on the big days, like Sundays. If you have a lot of brands have like Saturday, Sunday, have like a big day, then it's really important to scale less and that those budgets up nicely. If you like, of course, you can serve scale a bit. You can increase your budget by 10%, or you can increase your budget by 500%, whatever is your performance, right? Whatever you can do. Okay, well, you can serve scale the CBOs, but also the ABOs. Again, we recommend the CBOs a little easier. Scaling is very simple. Every few hours you go in there and increase by 20 to 100%. Look at the performance, monitor your KPIs closely. If it holds, increase again. You have a ROAS, one campaign starts off at a 3 ROAS at like 1 p.m. It spent $50 and you have a 3 ROAS, double the budget, $100. You check in 2-3 hours later and it spent like $80 or something like this. And you still have a 3 ROAS, right? Kept on performing. Okay, double the budget again to 200. 3 hours later, this is still performing. Okay, double the budget, right? If not, if it breaks, wait a few hours, just see if it like restabilizes. If not, just turn off and turn it on the next day and like reset the budget. And then of course, adjust it to your business, right? Inventory scale, but you have here, right? That's our tip for scaling. That's very, very simple stuff. Really, you serve scale your assets. We prefer that. We prefer CBO over ABO, a little more stable. Duplication works too, by the way. Like if you run ABOs and you have great ad groups, yeah, you can duplicate those 3 times and scale this way. Just be mindful that during the day, you can't scale that well with it because duplications take some time to start spending. You're going to duplicate an ad group, it's going to start like spend 2 hours later. Same with Meta. And then every few hours increase. And yeah, just to scale your budget, right? We're already at the end here. I have a closing thought here. All is for me bombarding with some information. A closing thought here, which is, if a product and website are great and I'm not consistent on TikTok, my content is the problem. And now I know how to fix it. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful thought to have if you're doing great on the product and website thing, if you're crushing up Meta and you have a product market fit for it, because it's a good product for TikTok. You're not making it, you're not consistent, you're not, you're doing well with it for a long time. Well, then just fix your content. That's all you need to do. No problem. Very easy. Now you need to know how to set up the process for it. There we go. Already done here. Thank you very much for listening. If anybody wants to find me on, well, now it's called X. So it's a little outdated. You can always find me, ask me questions, and now we're here with a Q&A.
Thank you, Kevin. That was very, very, very interesting.
Appreciate it. Glad it helps. Again, if you have any questions, shoot it my way. I will, though, if you're okay with it, I will just stop sharing the screen here for a moment because then I can see you.
I have a question about scaling. That was very interesting because it's curious how in TikTok you put something is working well and then it just goes dying day after day. So in the server scaling, what I understand is that it's not like a stable scaling when you are adding budget every day, slowly, like in Meta, maybe. It's about, if I understood well, the concept of serve scaling is that when something is working, take the advantage, don't leave it there. You need to scale it now, not tomorrow or after tomorrow when it's gonna die. So when something is working in TikTok, you need to go fast and scale. You said double it, and if it holds it, you double it again. And when it starts dying, you reset and perhaps wait until the next day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can set for the budget reset. You can set rules for it. So every day, your budgets of all your campaigns or the campaigns that you want will be reset, for example, to $50. And of course, you can, if something works, and let's say you start out on TikTok, right? You have the first 2-3 days of good performance, and then you want to start serve scaling. You want to try it out, right? Of course, you can try out with 20%, right? Try with 30% budget increase at one time, And then if it works and if the performance was good, well, next day you gotta try out 50%, right? You don't have to double your budget like every 3 hours. You can also do like 10, 20%, totally fine. But it's on average, the performance holds more often than it dies out. So like your net is actually better.
Okay, okay. But if it starts dying, you don't fight with that. You just turn it off and get new content, right? When something is dying is not gonna get better if you leave it there.
No. Yeah, it's not like there is platforms where, you know, like Pinterest, you launch something and then you let it there for 2 weeks. It collect data and like algorithm, learning phase, whatever, and then it like starts to be better. For TikTok, it's barely the case. Like we barely see it. Maybe there's a little bit of a performance increase because you get the social proof or something like this. But other than that, it's not like a crazy performance increase. Also, if it dies out, you can let it run for another day or two, right? If an asset, like the campaign days dies out, if it was good for a while, of course you can let it run for a day or two. But in TikTok, what still happens a lot of times is that your assets die out. That's totally fine. You just create new assets, right? So you have maybe 5 campaigns. It's totally normal that after like a couple of days, one campaign dies out, right? It's no problem because you're going to create another one and another one, right? Because you get new creatives and you want to relaunch old creatives. So you just do that all the time in the account, all the time. And if a campaign dies out after 3 days, no problem. If it's always 3 days, you create new ones, no problem, right? So sometimes you will have an account. We see accounts spending consistently and we don't have to touch them for like a week because the campaigns are stable and we just increase and decrease budget sometimes. But sometimes you have a very volatile account where assets die out faster, okay? You know, kill the assets faster than usual and create new ones with new creatives. And then, you know, you can be very consistent with that too.
Is there any way to minimize a little bit or optimize the fact of not having to create so much content? For example, in some of our cases, we work with many different products. So in each product, creating so much content is a big work. So is it possible to perhaps edit some of the videos, the first part or something like that in order to along the life of the creative?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, definitely yes. We only do it this way because we sell jewelry, and jewelry is very easy to shoot and also very easy to edit. Like there's not a lot that you need to do for jewelry, but for other product categories, you know, fucking shooting a backpack in the mountains, that's going to be a little tough, right? So it's totally fine to get either the raw clips from your creatives, and then you just have in that cycle, you just have an editor. Totally fine, no problem, right? We kept it simple, but a lot of people work like this. We also worked like this in the past. And what you can also do is you get the raw editable projects from your creators, like meaning they share it in your CapCut. So you have the ready-to-use creatives, but also you can edit it if you like. You know, and this way you can also move around the clips and stuff like this. And so it's totally fine. At some point, the algorithm, just like on any platform, wants fresh footage because your footage is just burned out. But you can go with the same footage for quite a long time, of course, if you just edit and have different angles like this.
All right. Interesting.
Nice. Do you have more questions?
No one.
When you double the ad set, when you double it 3-4 times, you leave it a little while and then you stop the ones that are performing not as well, and you stick with one or perhaps two if they are both good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, we mostly do it with campaigns, but you can also sort of scale the actors. It's fine. Campaigns are usually more stable in our experience. And you know, it's no problem to also, if they die out during the day, just reset them and the next day you launch them, right? Because it just didn't maintain that scale, it didn't work during the scale, but doesn't mean that it's generally there.
All right.
So imagine I have a CBO, I spend $200 per day, and I have, I don't know, CPA 3.
Yeah.
Is it a good idea to increase the budget to 1,000 on this CBO?
Well, first of all, it's a good idea to tell me the product where you have a CPA of 3, because I would like that. But I know COD, of course, you have like
Yeah,
crazy.
it's different. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't increase like at one point to 5K from like one to 1K from 200.
Yeah.
But try it out what works in your account. Like the craziest I think we did, I don't think we ever did a lot more than like double it at one point. Because you can reach such a crazy scale when you just double every few hours. Like if you start with a budget of 2K at the start of the day, like imagine what happens when every time you double the budget after like a few hours, you will reach those 10K, 15K spend days, no problem, right? So that's why I don't think we ever did it. Maybe tripled, I'm not sure. But hey, try it out. Let us know if it works.
So at the end, there's no same as Meta. There's no secret. It's just testing like ABO, CBO. Do you do big cost caps?
We sometimes still test them out. We used to be big on cost caps like 1.5 years ago or something. Nowadays, we only do lowest cost campaigns like CBOs or a value optimization. Value optimization, you run with ad groups and you do more duplications. Value optimization is very good. Also, we really like that too. But it's so simple. Like there's no gold rule, right? You just test out. If you have a winning offer, you test out on low scale, like lowest cost versus value optimization. If one works better, you just go with that. And that's it.
Nice.
Nothing crazy.
What's the craziest budget management you've done for clients in TikTok?
We never spent, I think our highest spend was like 13K a day. So we never really spend like those, there's like Google Ads agencies and Facebook agencies that have like 200K, 300K spend per day. We don't have that on TikTok. We would have loved to get our hands on like a bigger account, but we mostly build up accounts from the start or from a point where it was like low spend. And that was our maximum. Like we had 2-3 accounts where we consistently spent more than 10K and reached like 12, 13, 14, but that's pretty much it.
And for your dropshipping store, what's the barriers you have to scale? What's like, what's the obstacles you have to scale?
Yeah, I think so. In Germany, for the dropshipping brand, we have before Christmas, because we're gift-based jewelry, right? So our main time is before the big events. We could scale, I think, 5.5, 6K in Germany. That was like our biggest
6K spend
per day. But I think maybe I don't have it in my mind, maybe 6.5 or something, but not more than 7. I think I will remember that.
What happens if you go higher? Like CPA is like the
CPA is just tank, yeah, and you can see it in the frequency too. Like you can see it. We have like an audience pool of maybe 10, 15 million who generally get like targeted by our ads, right? And if you just ramp up the spend too crazy, like in a couple of weeks, you see like the frequency like 4, 5, 6, like just too high, and that performance just tanks. So and we have like strong awareness level 5 sale now coupon creatives, right? So we're aware that like how to handle high frequency too in the account. So we push. I think we push to quite the limit there, and it makes sense if you look at the CPMs and the impressions and reach and stuff like that. That there is a limit there.
So if you want to expand your like how is it like the sales you're having, the volume sales, you have to open new countries. That's the solution.
Open new countries, of course, platforms, like we run on Meta too, we run on Google Ads, of course, and open new countries. And one of the things that we started to do like last year, but we want to expand on too, is what I said is get different avatar creators, right? So far we speak to, like there is an audience pool of in total 22 or 23, maybe 25 million in the German-speaking market, and we only speak to less than a half, probably I think around less than a half, and we will definitely expand it by like 500K, a million, 200, whatever, if we add an older creator. We still don't have an older creator. We don't have one that's like 50 or something, but those users are on the platform, and you just can't hit them that well if you have a young creator. Like the performance just is not that good, so your spend will go to the younger ones, and you can't really push to those older ones. So that's why get we will get an older creator, like actually probably this month. And I'm very sure that we can push spend more by 10, 20, 30%, I'm not sure. Would be nice, but if it's just 5, it's fine.
Cool, man, cool. So, if you tenéis más preguntas, algo más que queráis preguntar, we're talking bad about you in Spanish.
No, I understand that. Come on, I can understand a little bit here.
All right, so I think if you don't have any more questions, Kevin, really good like speech. For me,
Appreciate it.
the summary is like more content, like
More content, better content.
yeah, exactly. Just test more and launch more content, and keep the machine up always for the
Exactly.
creatives. So you think if there's something working on Meta, it has to work on TikTok, like in a big scale. So the issue is the content.
I think anything that works on Meta, like that falls generally in the category that also works on TikTok, right? You're not going to sell $500 like pouches on TikTok probably. You can try, but on average not. Anything that generally falls into the category that works on TikTok for TikTok products, you can definitely make it work. The question is, are you willing to get to that point, and how well will it work? I'm very sure that you can make it work at least like a break even or like a little bit profitable, but a lot of times to get to that point is not worth it for people, because you have to go through so many iterations of content. You have to like get beat up for such a long time because your content is just not resonating with the people, that at the end of the day you'll be like, hey, let's do Meta, let's do Google Ads. And at some point, if you have the bandwidth because your team is large enough and you can sustain a little bit of an investment for 1, 2, 3 months, then go to TikTok ads, and I'm sure you can crack the code and get the content that you need to be reasonably successful, or of course better than reasonably successful.
Nice. Because on my experience, all what it works on TikTok, it will work on Meta, but I think not the opposite, not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now that's the truth. Yeah, there's just some things that there are products that generally they don't fall into that category. People don't vibe with it on the platform. There's other alternatives, price sensitive, whatever. So it just won't work. That happens.
Nice.
I have a question now. Ahora que has dicho esto, Gerard,
Sí.
if you find a viral video in TikTok and you make an ad with this video, does it usually works?
Oh, okay. So if you find one that's like organically successful,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends. Organic success is very different from like paid success, because organic success means it's an engaging video, right? There's a lot of rewatches, there's a lot of likes, comments, shares on that video. So the goal of an organic video is to be engaging. If it's engaging, it sparks the rewatches engagement, and then it works, goes viral. The goal of a paid video is to be converting, not engaging. The first goal is converting. I don't like if it converts. Of course, engaging is like here, and it should be engaging too. But the number one goal is converting. So having that structure sometimes and like a call to action, stuff like that, sometimes is necessary. Otherwise, it just won't be converting that well. But sometimes, yes, you can take an organic video and work very well on paid.
And TikTok penalize you if you steal a video from other creator?
Not directly, but what will happen is if you steal a video, a lot of people have access to that video, right? And TikTok understands the content of that video, understands which video you're taking, and in order to define where to show that video, like which people to show, they take that information from that video. Meaning, at the end of the day, if 100 people are taking the same video to advertise, they will all target the same people. Like it's all the same pool of audience. So everybody will go in there, and usually like high CPMs, high CPCs, because you're competing with like 100 other people that are also taking that video. And so the problem with taking somebody else's video is you will never know why it didn't work. Did it not work because of your website or your product? Or is your website and product amazing, but actually 1,000 other people are using that video. So that's why it will never work, right? So it's not the best thing in my mind to take it, but I understand for testing, it works fine. So.
Okay.
Nice. And how, imagine you have like 50 creatives, and we Raul and I, we got UGC agency to run our ads, like to create ads for us. And the biggest problem we had was they were like super cute and everything super beautiful, but they didn't convert as much as the original ones we have. And the biggest problem was the CPC. The CPC is much higher compared to the original ones. So when you have higher CPCs on the UGC, how can you fix that?
Good question. It can be a lot of things, I would say. But in general, probably your creative just isn't that good, right? Like there's elements in your creative, and it's impossible to say which one. But there's things in your creative that aren't that good. They don't resonate as well as the original one that you stole. But I'm sure that if you continue like to create a good creatives and you learn from the data that you get, right? You see, oh, their CPC is the best here. It's still shit, but there's the best in creative number 7. What did we do in number 7? Like, what's going on here? And you keep on improving your content game. Eventually, of course, you will create amazing content for that performs, that converts, right? But that's why I said a lot of times it's a long way to get there, because subjectively to your eye, you'll say, yeah, it's a good creative. But the feedback from the data tells you otherwise. So then the whole journey starts. What the fuck's going on? Is it the hook that's bad? And you can check different metrics. You can check the hook rate. You can check the 2-second watches and stuff like this, and really dive deep. I would say you can do that, but don't get paralyzed by it, and just continue to improve and improve. And you will get to a point where your content converts to.
Okay, we had like per video like 5 different hooks. And in general, all the CPCs are much higher compared to the original. So in that case, do you know what can be?
Again, I couldn't say what element of the creatives, or like plural or singular, is the issue. But I would say if it's bad in general, like just don't focus on like the hooks itself. If it's bad in general across the board, well then something else underlying is the problem. Maybe the creative just doesn't resonate. Right, like maybe the creator isn't native, it seems salesy, like subjectively it doesn't, maybe that's the case.
Okay, makes sense.
So, always hard to say.
I have a question, Kevin.
Yeah.
So you really think that, because I really tried a lot of UGC content, so you really think UGC is better than dropshipping content, I mean, or other videos content maybe, because I tried a lot, so I spent a lot of money as well, and always the old content, it works for me. So I don't know what you think about this. Yes, I don't know why.
Interesting. Hard to say. I remember we have for our main selling product is a dropshipping product, right? It's branded, but it's a dropshipping product. We have maybe at the moment, or like in the past 3-4 months, right? We have maybe 40 or 50 winning creators, maybe 35 to 40 winning creators, right? And during Q4, we have one creative that we stole like 2 years ago or something. Like it's super old, right? Super old creative. And we tried to recreate that creative so many times because it's stolen, right? We want to have a better version of it. And we maybe have like 15 or 20 different variations of that creative, and we never get it right. And always that one fucking creative that we stole 2 years ago always outperforms. But all the other content that we make, like it performs very well, right? So honestly, no fucking idea. There's always some things that you can't objectively like pick out and be like, oh, that's the issue. It is, in general, yes, I would say UGC, because we have like, when we started with our main product, we have like 20 web creatives and 10 of them were winning. Amazing, right? Make money. But then when we started to make our own content at the start, all of our web creatives will outperform still. And all of our own creative that we did sucked. But then slowly but surely you could see our own creatives like catch up. And nowadays we have like 30, 40 creatives that we run and only one is good. because all the other ones just took over, right? So it's a process that just takes time.
So maybe because our issue generally in our stores is the same. We want to improve and have like better content, but what it works at the end is the drop shipping ripped video. So we're like, we want to do it
That's
better, but
crazy.
the shittiest video you can see objectively, you say like, what the fuck? Why this? And the beautiful one with this like Spanish girl. So we're like, what? So maybe it's what you said, that maybe it's a process that you have to try because I tried like maybe 15 videos UGC, and you, Raul, maybe like, I don't know, 50, 30, something like this.
That's a high number, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But
Yes, a lot. That's why I have that question, no? That to keep
Exactly,
trying,
of course.
because I don't mind to keep trying, but I don't know. That's why.
It's the question is, I would say, how did was there in those 30, 40, 50 creatives, whatever, was there a creative in there, or like, was there a couple of creatives that came close, or was it all of them were shit?
Not for me.
Okay. Bro, was there something in there?
Sorry?
Was there some creatives that you tested that came close to the ripped one?
Sorry, I don't understand you. Kevin.
There was any video of the UGC that were similar CPA with the original one?
It was really well on Christmas. I have really good results in UGC, but only on Christmas. We started on January and then fall again. I don't know why. So I think it's not a good content. That's why.
Yeah. Also, that we know we're experienced with that because we sell gift-based jewelry. There's a lot of seasonality, of course, for products, right? And we have like our scale is like at 15% of what it was during Christmas times right now. And you can't scale it, you can't launch new creatives, and it's just that the buying intention in your audience pool just isn't there to perform very well or to scale, right? So we can still spend like maybe 900, 1K a day, but nowhere near where we were, right? So, and that's okay, that's normal, right? So, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, maybe you have that magic. Maybe there's just some magic to that we're creative.
And for me, I don't know why. The ugliest, shitty videos and products, they come to me, they become winners. I try my best to become like beautiful brand, but there's something that it comes to me. Like
the shitty ones,
shitty translations, shitty edit, ugly landing, and it works. And then when I try the best, it doesn't work.
Damn. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe TikTok recognizes it. There's
No,
the
TikTok
data.
and Meta both. I don't know.
Yeah, there's magic. You found magic. You have to find that person who made that video and like say, hey, I will make you rich.
Yeah,
Can you make content for me? Please.
Ugly content. I need ugly content.
Can you do more of that? More blurry content, please.
To keep people alive, to keep people the attention, no? What the fuck is this, no?
Exactly.
Only
I'm gonna click.
use iPhone 5 or iPhone 6, but newer is not allowed. It has to be shitty.
Exactly.
Crazy. I have one more suggestion, because at this point exactly I'm not about to start creating a lot of content every week. But perhaps I want to try like a hybrid or a middle point to it, which would be to edit videos, maybe changing the hook. So I don't know if you think that that's an acceptable solution, and do you suggest from a established video any technique to like put a hook inside and change the beginning that might keep the creative alive for a second round or a second campaign? Does this make sense as a middle point to suggest?
Yeah, you can. You can do stitches or green screens. So stitches is when you have like 3 seconds or something, and then of the video, and then boom, and then another video comes, right? You can Google stitches as a TikTok trend or like a usual thing, and that you can, this way you can just change the hook. Like for example, you can get a girl, or you can get it from another video that like looks super excited, and then say like stitch incoming, and say like something like this, and then boom, your old creative comes, right? Or you can do a green screen of a girl, or you, or whatever, you know, the audience is, where you are just in front filming your reaction to that video, right? So you're like, like this, and in the back, the same video plays, but it sort of gives the video a little bit of a new spin, right? Like those sort of things you can do to, of course, new text. Instead of music, you used to roll with voice. Instead of male, you roll with voice, you use female or whatever, or vice versa, different song. You can all do that. It can prolong it a little bit, but you know, it's like playing roulette. You know, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If it does, why does it? There's no system behind it, so it's hard to like learn from it and build on it. But just real quick, yeah, sure, try it out. Why not? You can do those very fast.
Okay.
It doesn't cost like anything or like a lot. So, why not?
Very good.
Nice. So we have the last thing for you. We've had well, it's been a pleasure for the speech. Always really
appreciate it. Same.
To get the value of TikTok. Maybe one day we will like it. For the moment, Meta is much better. Well, you tried your best. It's good.
I know.
You tried.
It's true. Meta is fucking up.
So the last request we have on the group is you've been 2 times invited in our like masterminds. I think this next one will be in Andorra, so we will be waiting for you.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the invitation. Well, when is it?
I think in 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, we will have this one, and at the end of May we will have another one in Ibiza. So you are both invited.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I guess this time you're in.
No, I would say yes right away. But right now I don't like to travel because I have like back problems like an 80-year-old. And that's why I'm like I hate flying right now. But if everything goes well, which I hope it does, my back will be fixed in like a couple of weeks. And then, Gerard, I will fly. Dude, if you make a retreat in fucking Alaska, I will be there. I'll fly, you know. I'll do like breathwork together, you know, we'll launch some TikTok ads. We'll do some UGC content, like shitty ones, you know, and, you know, we'll have a good time, of course. No, I appreciate the invitation. Again, I would love to come. I would love to be there. And, you know, that's, I hope.
Nice. So, well, guys, thank you for coming. Next week, I have good news. Manel is coming to the next masterclass next week.
Hey.
And I think we'll be for next Friday at 6:30. Instead of the masterclass with me, we'll be with Manel, Q&A, 1 hour or 2 talking with him, questions. Okay, and I will try to bring more people like Kevin, like Manel to the masterclass, so we have fresh content.
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. Can I come into Manel and just join the Zoom for like 5 seconds and say "Cabron"? And then
of course, man. Of course, you can take the whole session. The thing is that
to interrupt, to confuse me.
Yeah, you have to know Spanish. That's the issue.
Shit. Okay. Estoy aprendiendo.
You can insult him. You can insult him, so it's okay all the time in Spanish.
No problem. Yeah. No problem. I will learn a little bit before.
Always bringing value. That's good. Nice.
Kevin, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for this.
I appreciate it. Happy it helps. Very glad it helps.
So much value. Thanks, Kevin.
You can definitely like shoot me a question on Twitter, and then I'll gladly reply. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can follow him on Twitter. He's like big and well known on Twitter.
Small. I post memes sometimes. That's it. And some value here or there if I have the time. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. You know, I'll leave you to it. And Gerard, stay in touch as usual.
See you next time.
Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. Yeah. See you at the next mastermind.
See you. Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you, man.
Bye.
Bye.